Sports, we love them. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. It's all supposed to be a fair contest of skill, determination, and athleticism.
But behind the scenes, a darker game is being played. This is the world of doping in sports.
The use of performance-enhancing drugs has cast a long shadow. The promise of faster times, greater strength, and quicker recovery can be hard to resist.
But the consequences are severe. Athletes face lengthy bans, stripped titles, and irreparable damage to their reputations. The long-term health risks are equally daunting. If you thought doping was bad, wait till you hear about the shenanigans going on in the organizations that are supposed to be safeguarding sports. We're talking about the governing bodies, the FIFAs, and the IOCs of the world.
These institutions, entrusted with the responsibility of fair play and ethical conduct, have often been plagued by allegations of corruption. From bribery scandals to rigged bidding processes, the headlines have been dominated by stories of greed and misconduct.
Remember the 2022 World Cup in Qatar? The awarding of the tournament itself was mired in controversy, with accusations of vote buying and backroom deals.
But it's not just FIFA. The International Olympic Committee has also faced its share of scrutiny. From allegations of bribery in the bidding process for the 2002 Winter Olympics to accusations of financial mismanagement, the IOC has been forced to confront its own demons.
This culture of corruption has a corrosive effect on the entire sporting landscape. It erodes trust in the decision-making processes, casts doubt on the fairness of competitions, and ultimately diminishes the achievements of the athletes themselves. Now let's talk about the athletes themselves, the men and women who dedicate their lives to their sport, pushing their bodies to the limit in pursuit of greatness.
Many find themselves exploited, their dreams commodified for someone else's profit. The exploitation of young athletes is a particularly insidious problem. Pushed too hard, too soon, they risk burnout and injury.
Then there's the issue of labor exploitation. Mega events like the Olympics often rely on migrant workers facing appalling conditions.
And let's not forget about the gender pay gap in sports. Female athletes continue to earn significantly less than their male counterparts.
So, how did we get here? How did sports, once a celebration of human achievement and sportsmanship, become so tarnished by cheating, corruption, and exploitation? Well, one word sums it up: pressure. The pressure to win, to secure lucrative sponsorships, to achieve national pride has created a toxic environment where the ends justify the means. Athletes are pushed to their physical and mental limits, often with little regard for their well-being. Coaches and trainers, caught up in the pursuit of victory, may turn a blind eye to doping or encourage dangerous training regimes. Governing bodies, blinded by greed and ambition, prioritize profit over integrity. This win-at-all-costs mentality has created a race to the bottom, where ethical boundaries are blurred and the true spirit of sportsmanship is lost. Section 5. Collateral damage. The impact on fans and the game. The consequences of this dark side of sports are far-reaching, impacting not just the athletes and organizations involved, but also the fans who invest their hearts and souls into the games they love. Imagine being a die-hard fan, your whole life revolving around your team, only to discover that their victories were built on lies and deceit. The sense of betrayal is profound. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about the game and the people who play it. This erosion of trust can have a devastating impact on the popularity and sustainability of sports. Why should fans invest their time, money, and emotions in something that feels rigged, unfair, and tainted by scandal? The long-term health of any sport depends on its ability to maintain the integrity of its competitions and the trust of its fans. Without these fundamental elements, the entire edifice crumbles. To Section 6 and a history of cheating doping scandals that rocked the world. The history of sports is unfortunately littered with doping scandals that have shocked and dismayed fans.
One of the most infamous involves cycling legend Lance Armstrong. Armstrong dominated cycling, winning 7 consecutive Tour de France titles. In 2012, USADA accused Armstrong of leading a sophisticated doping program. He was stripped of his titles and banned for life.
Another major scandal involved Russia's state-sponsored doping program. In 2015, WADA revealed widespread doping in Russian athletics. Section 7. The illusion of fair play, match fixing and its consequences. While doping aims to enhance performance through artificial means, match fixing strikes at the very heart of sports, corrupting the fundamental principle of fair play. It's a betrayal of trust that undermines the integrity of competition and defrauds fans. Match fixing can take many forms, from players deliberately underperforming to officials making biased decisions, all for the sake of illegal gambling profits or other illicit gains. It's a global problem that has reared its ugly head in a wide range of sports, including soccer, cricket, tennis and basketball. One of the most high-profile match-fixing scandals involved Italian soccer in 2006. The scandal, known as Calciopoli, implicated several top clubs and resulted in Juventus, one of Italy's most successful teams, being stripped of their 2004 to 2005 Serie A title and relegated to Serie B. Match fixing not only undermines the integrity of sports but also fuels organized crime and illegal gambling operations. It creates an environment of suspicion and distrust, making it difficult for fans to enjoy the purity of competition. Section 8. Built on the backs of labor exploitation in stadium construction. The glitz and glamour of major sporting events like the Olympics and the World Cup often mask a darker reality: the exploitation of migrant workers who are brought in to build the spectacular stadiums and infrastructure that host these events. The 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar in particular drew intense scrutiny for its treatment of migrant workers.
Qatar, a small nation with limited domestic labor, relied heavily on migrant workers, primarily from South Asian countries, to build its World Cup stadiums and infrastructure. Amnesty International and other human rights organizations documented widespread abuses, including forced labor, unsafe working conditions, unpaid wages, and confiscation of passports. The Qatari government, while acknowledging some shortcomings, defended its record and implemented some reforms.
The exploitation of migrant workers in the construction of sporting venues is a stark reminder that the pursuit of sporting glory should never come at the expense of human rights. Section 9. The gender pay gap, a marathon, not a sprint. Despite significant progress in recent years, the gender pay gap in sports remains a persistent problem, highlighting the systemic inequalities that female athletes continue to face. In many sports, women earn significantly less than their male counterparts, despite achieving comparable levels of success. This disparity is evident in prize money, endorsements, and salaries. For example, the US women's national soccer team, despite winning 4 World Cup titles and 4 Olympic gold medals, has long fought for equal pay with the US men's national team. The reasons for the gender pay gap are complex and multifaceted, ranging from differences in revenue generation and media coverage to entrenched gender stereotypes and biases. Addressing the gender pay gap in sports requires a multifaceted approach, including greater investment in women's sports, increased media coverage, and a commitment to challenging gender stereotypes. Section 10. Beyond the field, media and sponsorship pressures. The media and sponsorship landscape can exert immense pressure on athletes, often blurring the lines between their public personas and their private lives. The relentless pursuit of sensational stories and the pressure to maintain a squeaky clean image can take a toll on athletes' mental health and well-being. Social media, while providing a platform for athletes to connect with fans, can also be a double-edged sword. Cyberbullying, online harassment, and the constant scrutiny of their every move can create immense pressure and anxiety. Sponsors too play a significant role in shaping athletes' public image. Athletes are often contractually obligated to maintain a certain image and endorse specific products, which can feel restrictive and inauthentic. It's important to remember that athletes are human beings, not just commodities or brands. They deserve to be treated with respect, dignity, and compassion, both on and off the field. Section 11. Cleaning up the game towards a brighter future. The dark side of sports is a complex and multifaceted issue with no easy solutions. However, acknowledging the problem is the first step towards addressing it. By shining a light on doping, corruption, and exploitation, we can begin to create a more ethical and sustainable sporting landscape. Strengthening anti-doping measures, promoting transparency and accountability in governing bodies, and fostering a culture of respect for athletes' rights are all crucial steps in the right direction. Fans too have a role to play by demanding better from their sports heroes and the organizations that govern them. Let's work together to ensure that sports can once again be a source of inspiration, joy, and fair competition for generations to come.